Welcome to Elder Zen. Hit subscribe for simple health tips made just for seniors. Stay tuned. Your next great day starts here. Let's pause for a moment together. Think about your favorite way to relax. Maybe it's curling up on the sofa for a classic movie marathon, sharing a long car ride to visit grandchildren, or settling into your favorite chair by the window with a book and a cup of tea. These moments of comfort, of connection, of simply being, are some of the sweetest rewards of a life well lived. Yet, while our bodies are at rest, something else is quietly happening beneath the surface. Something most of us never consider until it demands our attention. Imagine this. After a cozy evening, you stand up and feel your legs a little heavy, perhaps even a bit stiff or puffy. You shake them out, chalk it up to just getting older, and move on with your day. But what if I told you that these subtle signals, these ordinary moments, might actually be your body whispering a warning? For seniors especially, stretches of long sitting, whether you're traveling the world or enjoying well-deserved rest at home, can set the stage for a hidden risk. A blood clot, known as a pulmonary embolism, that can travel silently from your leg to your lungs and create a life-threatening emergency without any obvious sign. Now, before you start worrying, let me reassure you. Knowledge is power. Understanding what's happening, why it matters, and what you can do about it puts you firmly in control of your well-being. That's why we're here today, not to create fear, but to arm you with clear, compassionate guidance. I want you to feel not just informed, but truly empowered to enjoy every journey, every gathering, every peaceful moment with confidence and peace of mind. We'll start by peeling back the curtain on what pulmonary embolism really is, why it's so much more than just a medical term, and why people over 60 need to be especially alert. We'll dig into the science, but in plain language, no jargon, just real facts. I'll share with you the stories of folks who found themselves facing this risk, sometimes without warning, and what they wish they had known earlier. Most importantly, I'll guide you through the easy, practical habits, little things you can start doing right now that will help you prevent blood clots. Whether you're traveling across the world or simply enjoying your favorite seat at home. So, are you ready? Are you willing to take a closer look at what's really happening inside your body and to make every moment of rest, every trip, every gathering, a chance to protect your health and extend your independence? I promise, you don't need to make dramatic changes, just a few simple, joyful adjustments to your daily routine. And as we walk through these lessons together, I hope you'll see that growing older doesn't have to mean giving up on adventure, comfort, or curiosity. Instead, it's about embracing each new chapter with wisdom, courage, and a renewed appreciation for the little things that keep us going. So, take a deep breath, settle in, and join me as we uncover the silent side of sitting still and discover how you can keep moving forward with strength and confidence at every age. Because every journey you take, even from your favorite armchair, deserves to be safe, healthy, and filled with life. Let's begin your next adventure, and wellness starts right now. Let's start our journey with a clear picture of what's really at stake. If you've never heard the term pulmonary embolism before, or if it sounds like just another bit of complicated medical jargon, don't worry, you're not alone. But understanding this condition, in the simplest terms, could be one of the most important things you do for your health, or for someone you love. So, what exactly is a pulmonary embolism? Picture your blood as a highway system, crisscrossing your entire body, delivering life-giving oxygen and nutrients to every organ, every cell. Now imagine a traffic jam, a sudden, dangerous blockage. This is what happens in a pulmonary embolism, or PEI for short. Most often, it starts far from the lungs, deep within the veins of your legs. There, a blood clot forms a silent passenger. Sometimes, after a long stretch of sitting, an illness, or surgery. At first, it might seem harmless. You might not even notice it. But if that clot breaks loose, it travels upward, riding the bloodstream until it lodges in the arteries of your lungs suddenly. Blood flow is cut off, and oxygen can't reach your heart and brain the way it should. Now, you might be wondering, why is this especially important for seniors? Why should those of us over 60 or those caring for older loved ones pay extra attention to this hidden risk? The answer lies in the subtle changes that come with age. As we grow older, the valves and walls of our veins aren't quite as strong and springy as they used to be. Our blood may naturally become a little thicker, our circulation a bit slower. Add to that the realities of life, spending more time recovering after illness or surgery, managing chronic conditions like heart disease or diabetes, or simply moving less than we once did, and suddenly, the risk of a clot forming becomes much higher. But there's another side to this. Story. Awareness. While the statistics may sound alarming, over half of all pulmonary embolisms occur in people over 60, and many go unrecognized until it's almost too late. This knowledge also gives us power. When you know what's happening inside your body, you have the chance to act early, to prevent problems before they start, and to take charge of your own well-being in ways that were never possible. For previous generations, let's think about a typical scenario. Maybe you're recovering from a hip replacement or a long illness, and you've been told to rest, so you spend more time in bed or sitting in your favorite chair. Or maybe you've just taken a wonderful trip to visit family, but the journey involved hours on a bus or in a car. It's only natural to slow down, to seek comfort. But all that stillness, without enough movement, without enough hydration, sometimes without the right medications, creates a perfect environment for blood to pool and for clots to begin forming in the deep veins of your legs. Here's where the real danger lies. These clots often form quietly, with little or no warning. You might feel a bit of tightness or swelling in your calf, maybe a faint ache that comes and goes. You chalk it up to just getting older or the after effects of a busy day. But sometimes, that small silent clot can set off a chain reaction that becomes life-threatening in just minutes. But I want you to know this. The goal here isn't to make you afraid of every ache or every rest. Quite the opposite. It's about giving you the tools to recognize what's normal for your body and what might be a quiet alarm bell, so you can get help quickly and avoid a much bigger crisis. Down the road, it's about shifting from fear to confidence, from worry to wise action. For those who live with chronic conditions, maybe heart problems, varicose veins, diabetes, or a history of cancer, understanding this risk is even more important. And yet, so many people are surprised when they or someone they love experiences a pulmonary embolism, simply because they never knew how quietly it can develop. So as we move forward in this conversation, I encourage you to see yourself as the guardian of your own health story. The more you know about how your body works and how it changes over time, the more you can stay one step ahead, catching warning signs early, making small daily choices that protect your heart, your lungs, and your freedom to live life on your CDs, and your freedom to live life on your own terms. Let's keep going, because the more you understand, the more you can do. And trust me, the steps you'll learn today aren't complicated or out of reach. They're simple, proven habits that anyone can adopt at any age. Whether you're planning your next adventure or simply looking forward to another peaceful afternoon at home, you deserve to move through life with confidence, comfort, and joy. So, let's turn knowledge into power and see how you can make every day, every moment safer, healthier, and more fulfilling. The journey to protecting yourself from pulmonary embolism starts with understanding, and you've already taken the first, most important step. Now that we've seen why pulmonary embolism is such a crucial topic, especially as we get older, let's take a closer look at one of its most common and underestimated triggers: periods of sitting still for too long. It's a part of modern life that almost everyone can relate to, whether it's a long day of travel, A movie marathon at home? Or just enjoying a cozy afternoon in your favorite armchair? But what's happening inside our bodies during these stretches of inactivity? And why do these seemingly harmless moments of rest sometimes turn into silent risks, especially for seniors? To really grasp this, let's imagine what happens the next time you settle in for a long journey or a relaxing afternoon. At first, it feels good to give your legs a break. Maybe you're on a plane, tucked in by the window, or curled up with a good book. Hours slip by and you barely notice. But as the minutes turn to hours, your calf muscles, the natural pumps that help push blood up and out of your legs, aren't working the way they should. Gravity takes over, and the blood begins to pool in the deepest veins, especially if you're sitting with your knees bent or legs crossed. For most young, active people, this isn't much of a concern. But for those over 60 whose circulation may already be a bit slower, these quiet moments of stillness can quietly set the stage for a blood clot. Add in a few common factors like mild dehydration, a recent illness, recovery from surgery, or medications that thicken your blood, and the risk quietly grows. The truth is, you don't have to run a marathon, climb a mountain, or push your body to the limit for your health to be at stake. Sometimes it's the moments of rest and comfort that require the most attention. You might be thinking, but I love my quiet time. I enjoy relaxing, visiting family, or taking long car trips to see friends. And you should. These moments are the heart of what makes life meaningful, especially in our later years. The key isn't to give up what you love, but to understand how to make those restful moments safer and more mindful. For example, did you know that long-haul travelers, those who spend more than 4 hours on a plane, bus, or car, are at a much higher risk for deep vein thrombosis and pulmonary embolism? But it isn't just about travel. Homebound seniors, those recovering from illness or injury, or anyone spending hours a day in one position, are all facing similar risks. And here's another twist. These risks aren't always obvious. The body doesn't send out loud alarms when a clot is forming. Most people don't feel a thing as blood pools in the legs. There's no pain, no warning, just a gentle heaviness, a little swelling, or a tightness that's easy to shrug off as just part of getting older. It's only when the clot breaks free and travels to the lungs that symptoms become severe. And by then, the situation can be life-threatening. But don't let this knowledge fill you with fear. Instead, let it empower you. Because the solution is beautifully simple. Small, regular moments of movement. Picture this: you're on a long trip, and every hour, you take a moment to flex your ankles, rotate your feet, stand up for a stretch, or walk down the aisle. At home, you make it a habit to get up and walk around the room during commercial breaks, or to do a few gentle leg exercises while chatting with friends or family. These tiny choices act like ripples in a pond, each movement helping to keep your blood flowing, your muscles active, and your risk of blood clots dramatically lower. And don't underestimate the power of hydration. When we travel, or when we're simply enjoying a quiet afternoon, it's easy to forget to drink water. Yet dehydration is a major factor that makes blood thicker and more likely to clot. Keeping a water bottle nearby, enjoying herbal teas, or snacking on fruits with high water content, these are all simple ways to protect yourself, no matter where you are. Remember, being proactive doesn't mean giving up your routines, your rest, or your favorite activities. It means weaving in a thread of awareness and gentle action, standing up, stretching, moving your toes, or simply inviting a friend to take a walk with you. If you or someone you love is recovering from illness or surgery, talk to your healthcare team about when and how to start moving safely. They can help you build these habits step by step at a pace that feels right in the end. It's about living with intention, cherishing every moment, and making sure that every quiet hour brings you not just peace, but also health, safety, and the freedom to keep enjoying life for years to come. So as you plan your next trip, your next afternoon at home, or your next gathering with loved ones, remember, a little movement, a little water, and a lot of awareness go a long way toward keeping your body strong, your spirits high, and your adventures ongoing. Let's keep going, because your journey to vibrant, independent living is just beginning, and there's so much more to discover about how easy, joyful habits can protect your health every day. Now that we understand why those quiet hours of sitting, whether at home or while traveling, carry hidden risks, let's take a closer look at what modern science and real-world research have revealed about this subject. You might be surprised at just how much we know, and how simple changes in daily life can bring remarkable protection. First, let's talk numbers, because sometimes seeing the data makes everything a little more real. Over the past 2 decades, medical research around the world has followed tens of thousands of older adults, watching what happens over months and years. The results, they're clear and they're compelling. For instance, a major study published in The Lancet observed more than 100,000 seniors and found that those who sat for more than 6 hours a day had a 60% higher risk of developing deep vein thrombosis compared to those who stood up, stretched, or walked around more regularly. Think about that. Just a few more hours of sitting each day can quietly tip the scales toward danger. But the research doesn't stop there. Another eye-opening study, this one published in the Journal of Thrombosis and Hemostasis, looked specifically at the risk after long-haul flights, which so many of us take to see family or explore new places. The findings: seniors who flew for over 4 hours at a time doubled their risk of a blood clot, and the risk tripled if they were also dehydrated, overweight, or had other health concerns. That means a trip to visit your grandchildren or a once-in-a-lifetime vacation, while precious, can quietly set up a health hazard if you don't take precautions. And let's not forget about hospitalizations, a topic many of us know all too well. According to the CDC, people over 60 who spent even a few days in the hospital recovering from surgery, a broken bone, or a serious illness are up to 10 times more likely to develop blood clots compared to healthy, active peers. It's not just about resting in bed. It's about how immobility, coupled with the stress of recovery and certain medications, can create the perfect storm for a clot to form. But before this all sounds too alarming, let's pause. Remember, research doesn't just warn us, it empowers. Thanks to these studies, doctors and nurses now routinely prescribe preventive steps for seniors. From encouraging early movement after surgery to recommending compression stockings on long journeys. More and more, we're learning that the little things really do matter, and the best defense is building them into our routines before problems start. Here's what else the science tells us. The risks of blood clots aren't limited to faraway travel or hospital stays. Everyday habits make a difference. Long afternoons spent reading, days when we feel under the weather and don't move much, or periods of inactivity after a fall or illness, all of these moments are opportunities to protect ourselves. But here's the truly encouraging part. Every positive step counts. Just standing up for a few minutes each hour, wiggling your toes, stretching your calves, and sipping on water can lower your risk in meaningful ways. In fact, doctors now say that one of the best medicines for healthy aging is to find little ways to keep your body in motion. No special gym, no fancy routines, just a commitment to gentle, regular movement. Let's make this practical. You don't need to be perfect. Maybe you set a timer to remind you to stand, or you use commercial breaks on TV as a cue to walk around the living room. If you're traveling, plan little walks up and down the aisle, or stop for short strolls at rest areas. At home, invite a friend or family member to join you on a stroll after lunch or dinner, turning movement into a time to connect and share stories. It's also worth mentioning that these habits aren't just for you, they're for those you love. Research shows that when seniors model healthy routines, their friends, partners, and even grandchildren are more likely to move more too. The impact ripples out in every direction, building a healthier, happier community. So, as we move forward, in this video, keep in mind that science is on your side. Each small action you take, every glass of water, every stretch, every time you listen to your body and make a little movement, these are powerful, proven steps to protecting your health. They're not just good advice, they're strategies that have helped thousands, if not millions, of older adults stay active, independent, and strong in a world that moves quickly. Sometimes it's the simplest choices that have the greatest power. Let's keep exploring together, because your next step toward better health may be just that, a single, gentle step right where you are. As we continue this journey together, let's shift from numbers and science to something even more powerful. The lived experiences of real people, ordinary seniors just like you and me. Sometimes it's these personal stories that stay with us long after the statistics fade, reminding us that every choice, every small habit really does matter. So let's listen in and let their lessons inspire us to be proactive and kind to ourselves. Consider Tom, age 69. Tom's story might sound familiar. After a routine knee surgery, a procedure many older adults will face at some point, Tom was told by his care team to take it easy and allow his body time to heal. He took this advice to heart, spending his days resting on the couch, catching up on favorite shows, and giving himself plenty of time to nap and recover. At first, it felt like the right thing. But after about a week, Tom began to notice something unusual. His left leg was swollen and a bit red, and there was a subtle ache he just couldn't shake. It's probably just part of healing, he told himself, and tried to ignore it. The next morning, however, things changed fast. Tom woke up breathless and dizzy, struggling even to stand. Thankfully, a quick-thinking neighbor called 911, and doctors at the hospital discovered a pulmonary embolism. A blood clot from Tom's leg had broken free and traveled to his lungs. Tom survived, and today he shares his story with others, urging them not to overlook the warning signs or assume that rest always means doing nothing. His biggest regret, not knowing how easy it could have been to reduce his risk simply by moving his legs, drinking more water, and listening a little closer to his body. And then there's Martha, age 72. Martha's love for travel had always brought her joy, especially visits to see her daughter and grandchildren overseas. On her longest flight yet, she enjoyed reading, watching movies, and catching a nap, hours spent without much movement. When she landed, Martha noticed a dull ache in her calf. Just jet lag, she thought, brushing it off as nothing. But a few days later, she was hit by sharp chest pain and sudden shortness of breath, sending her straight to the ER. The cause? A blood clot had traveled from her leg to her lung, a pulmonary embolism, just like Tom's. Today, Martha is healthy and thriving, but she never boards a plane without a bottle of water in hand and a promise to herself to stand up, stretch, and walk the aisle every hour. No matter what, stories like Tom's and Martha's aren't rare. They're happening every day in every community. Maybe you recognize pieces of yourself in their journeys. Maybe you remember a friend or relative who just didn't feel right after a trip or a long period of rest. These stories are important, not because we should be scared, but because we can learn from them. They remind us that it's not about avoiding travel, comfort, or needed recovery. Instead, it's about adding a little more awareness, a bit of movement, and a willingness to check in with ourselves and those we love. Let's also remember the little moments that matter. That gentle nudge from a spouse to get up and stretch, a friend who calls to remind you to walk, or the grandchild who asks for an after-dinner stroll. These aren't just simple gestures, they're acts of care and love that may make all the difference. If you're listening today and realizing you've had times of being less active, don't feel guilty or worried. Every day is a new opportunity to make small changes. Maybe you set a reminder to get up each hour, invite someone to join you for a walk, or take a few extra steps during your daily routine. These actions are as important as any prescription or doctor's order. They're the building blocks of a healthier, more independent future. So as you listen to these stories, I encourage you, turn their lessons into action. If you find yourself sitting for long stretches, whether it's for travel, a favorite hobby, or recovery after an illness, find a way to add gentle movement, stretch, or hydrate. And if you ever notice swelling, unexplained pain, or shortness of breath, take it seriously. Reach out for help. Your story can have a different ending, a story of prevention, resilience, and thriving, no matter your age. Because, in the end, the power to stay healthy, active, and adventurous is not out of reach. It's right there, in the small choices you make, one day at a time. Let's carry these stories forward and let them inspire every step we take. Now that we've heard real stories of how inactivity can have unexpected consequences, let's talk about one of the most important skills you can develop as you age: listening to your own body. Our bodies are always speaking to us, sometimes with a whisper, sometimes with a shout. And when it comes to blood clots and pulmonary embolism, the body's early signals can be so gentle that they're easily overlooked. That's why knowing what to watch for and acting early makes all the difference. So, what are the warning signs that a blood clot may be forming in your leg or even moving toward your lungs? Let's break them down in plain language with a little extra context and some personal reflection, so you'll remember them long after this video ends. First, let's start with your legs, because that's where most trouble begins. Have you ever stood up after a long movie, a car ride, or even a nap and noticed one of your legs feels swollen, maybe a bit warmer or redder than the other? It's easy to blame that on just sitting too long or getting older. But in reality, swelling, especially in just one leg below the knee, is one of the earliest signs of a deep vein thrombosis, or DVT. Sometimes this swelling comes with a sense of heaviness, tightness, or even a dull ache that lingers. Don't ignore it, even if it doesn't seem like a big deal. Along with swelling, pay close attention to pain or tenderness in your calf that isn't explained by a recent bump or twist. This pain might feel like a cramp or just a nagging discomfort. If pressing on the area makes it worse, or if your skin seems warm or changes color, getting pale, reddish, or bluish, it's time to pay attention. But blood clots don't always stay put. Sometimes, a clot can break loose and travel up to your lungs, causing a pulmonary embolism. When that happens, the warning signs can become dramatic, often very quickly. Picture yourself going about your normal routine. Maybe you're simply getting up to grab a cup of tea, or walking from one room to another when you suddenly feel short of breath. Not just a little winded, but truly unable to catch your breath, as if you've just climbed several flights of stairs. This sudden shortness of breath, especially when you haven't done anything strenuous, is a red flag that should never be ignored. What about chest pain? Many seniors are used to aches and pains, but the chest pain from a pulmonary embolism is different. It's usually sharp and stabbing, often worse when you take a deep breath, cough, or move around. Some describe it as a knife-like pain or a pressure that won't go away. And while chest pain always deserves immediate attention when it comes, paired with sudden breathlessness, to signal your body is sending that something urgent is happening. Other important signs include a racing heart, dizziness, or even fainting. If you ever find yourself suddenly feeling your heart pounding without a clear reason, or you feel like you might pass out, don't wait and see if it passes. These are serious symptoms. And finally, there's a sign that many people ignore: coughing. Especially if it doesn't go away, or if you start coughing up blood. Even a small amount of blood in your sputum, combined with chest pain or shortness of breath, should be treated as an emergency. Now, let's take a moment to acknowledge a difficult truth. Sometimes these signs are subtle at first. You might feel a little off, but not sick enough to call for help. It's in these moments that your vigilance, your willingness to check in with yourself, and your courage to speak up can make all the difference. Don't brush off changes, especially new symptoms that appear without an obvious cause to sum up. Here's what you can do right now. Get to know your normal, how your legs look and feel, how your breathing and heart rate usually are, and what level of activity tires you out. Then, trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it's always better to check with a doctor or nurse. As we get older, being cautious isn't being fearful, it's being wise. And it's the best way to stay independent, active, and safe. Remember, every major health victory begins with a small moment of awareness. By learning these signs and acting quickly, you're giving yourself and your loved ones the gift of many more healthy, joyful days ahead. So listen to your body, stay alert, and let's keep moving forward together. Let's take what we've learned and turn it into real action, because when it comes to preventing blood clots and staying healthy, it's those small, daily habits that make the biggest difference over time. Whether you're someone who loves to travel or you simply enjoy cozy days at home, there are simple, effective ways to keep your blood flowing and your body strong. And the best part? Most of these steps can easily fit right into your regular routine. To begin with, let's talk about travel, a topic that brings excitement, but can also raise a few worries, especially as we age. Long flights, car rides, or even sitting in a waiting room for hours can all set the stage for blood to pool in your legs, increasing your risk for deep vein thrombosis or DVT. But here's the good news. A little movement goes a very long way. If you're flying or driving, make it a rule to move every hour. That could mean standing up, stretching, walking up and down the aisle, or, if you're on the road, pulling over at a rest stop for a quick walk. Even a few ankle circles or gentle calf raises while seated can keep your blood circulating. Think of it as giving your legs a little wake-up call, reminding them to keep pumping blood back toward your heart. Hydration is another powerful tool, and it's one that's often overlooked. When you're dehydrated, your blood thickens, making clots more likely. So, before you set off on any journey, or even if you're enjoying a movie, marathon at home, keep a bottle of water nearby and sip regularly. Try to avoid too much caffeine or alcohol, which can sneakily dry you out. Remember, water is your friend, and your future self will thank you for every extra glass. Clothing choices also play a role. For travel or long sitting, pick loose, comfortable clothes and avoid anything that feels tight around your waist or legs. Tight waistbands or socks can restrict blood flow, which is exactly what we want to prevent. And if you're planning a long trip, ask your doctor if compression socks might be right for you. These special stockings help keep blood moving in your legs and are recommended for many seniors, especially those with additional risk factors. Now, let's switch to home life. Just because you're not jet-setting doesn't mean you're immune to blood clots. If you spend long stretches watching TV, reading, or working on a hobby, set a timer to remind yourself to get up, stretch, or march in place every hour. Even a little movement makes a big difference over weeks and months. And if you're recovering from an illness or surgery, follow your care team's instructions. Carefully move as soon as you're able. And don't be shy about asking for help or reminders from loved ones. Elevation can also help. When sitting or resting, try putting your feet up on a pillow or stool, raising them above your heart for a few minutes. This simple trick makes it easier for your blood to flow back to your upper body, reducing pooling in the legs. It can be easy to forget these habits, especially if you're alone or not feeling your best. That's why a buddy system works wonders. Invite a friend or family member to be your movement partner. Join a walk and talk group or check in by phone to make sure you're both moving regularly. Not only does this add a bit of fun and accountability, but it also builds connection. a powerful tool for health in its own right. For those who've just come through a hospital stay or surgery, pay extra attention to your care plan. If your doctor prescribes medication to prevent clots, take it exactly as directed, and don't rush back into high-intensity exercise. Gentle, steady movement is safest. Watch for any changes in how your legs look or feel. And don't ignore new symptoms. Better to check early than wait too long as we move through our golden years. It's easy to fall into the habit of sitting more and moving less. But remember, preventing blood clots isn't about avoiding rest or comfort. It's about bringing awareness and small, positive actions into every day. Think of it as an investment in your own freedom and independence. So, as you go about your week, notice where you can add just a little more movement, a little more water, or a little more support. Your body will thank you, your mind will feel clearer, and you'll be setting a wonderful example for those around you. Prevention truly is the best medicine, and it starts with you, right now, in this moment. Stay with me as we move forward, because the journey to vibrant health is one we walk together, step by step. Now that we've uncovered the practical steps you can take each day to prevent blood clots, let's shift our focus to something just as important: the power you have to inspire and support those around you. Because health isn't just a solo journey, it's a community effort, and the choices you make can create positive ripples far beyond your own life. Let's start with a simple truth. When you commit to healthier habits like standing up regularly, drinking more water, or moving a little more each day, you don't just improve your own well-being. You become a living, breathing example to friends, family, and even casual acquaintances. You might be surprised at how your small actions can spark change in others. Imagine the next time you're on a trip with loved ones, or even just sitting together at home. Instead of waiting for someone else to suggest a stretch break or a walk, why not take the lead? A gentle, "Let's stand up and stretch for a minute" can quickly become everyone's new favorite ritual. When you offer someone a glass of water, you're not only hydrating yourself, but also gently nudging those around you toward better habits. These small gestures, repeated day after day, can add up to a big difference over time. But it's not only about physical movement or hydration. The way you talk about your experiences and the stories you share can also have a profound effect. Next time you catch up with friends, maybe during a card game, a family dinner, or a phone call, try sharing something you've learned about blood clot prevention. Maybe mention a tip that helped you or a story from today's video. Often, just hearing about another person's journey is enough to motivate someone to pay a little closer attention to their own health. Let's not forget the power of celebration. Every healthy choice deserves a bit of recognition. When you complete a walk around the block, choose water instead of soda, or remind a friend to move, take a moment to feel proud. Better yet, celebrate these moments together. Consider starting a small group or a buddy system, maybe a movement club or a shared hydration tracker. Not only does this keep you accountable, but it also makes healthy living more social, enjoyable, and fun. And if you ever feel like your actions don't matter, remember that even one conversation, one reminder, or one act of care can have a ripple effect that stretches far beyond what you see. Many times, the person you help inspire is the one who needed it most. Even if they don't say it out loud, it's also helpful to keep in mind that nobody is perfect. There will be days when you forget to move, when you miss a glass of water, or when old habits creep back in. That's okay. What matters most is getting back on track, learning from the setback, and maybe reaching out to someone else for encouragement. When you show yourself compassion, you teach others to do the same. So as you go forward, think about the little ways you can make health a shared journey. Bring others into your routines. Ask questions, offer advice, and above all, encourage one another. The community you build, whether it's family, friends, neighbors, or even fellow travelers, will be your greatest asset in maintaining vibrant health. And here's a thought to take with you. Every walk, every glass of water, every shared story is a gift you give not just to yourself, but to everyone who loves you. Together, you can create a circle of care and inspiration that helps everyone live better, longer, and happier lives. So let's keep moving, keep sharing, and keep building a community where healthy aging is not just possible, but joyful. Your example truly does matter. And the best journeys are those we walk together. Stay tuned for the final thoughts. Your next adventure is only just beginning. As we come to the close of today's journey together, I invite you to pause for just a moment and reflect on everything we've discovered. Think about how, just a short while ago, blood clots and pulmonary embolism might have felt like distant, complicated medical terms, something that happens to other people. But now, look at how much more you understand. You know the risks. You recognize the warning signs, and, perhaps most importantly, you're equipped with simple, powerful habits that can keep you safe no matter where life takes you. Let's linger on this idea. Every stage of life is a new chapter, full of both adventure and responsibility. For many of us, the golden years are about embracing new freedoms, traveling, reconnecting with family, exploring hobbies, and savoring the quiet joys that come with a slower pace. But just as we plan for fun and relaxation, we must also plan for our health. It's not about fear, it's about wisdom. It's about turning knowledge into confidence and small actions into lifelong habits. Now, imagine the next time you find yourself in a long car ride, a plane seat, or even settled into your favorite chair at home. Instead of feeling worry, picture yourself reaching for a glass of water, standing up for a gentle stretch, or inviting a loved one for a quick stroll around the block. These aren't just tasks on a checklist. They're rituals of self-care. Gifts you give your future self. And each time you practice them, you're not just protecting your body, but also your independence, your energy, and your precious time with family and friends. And remember, you are never alone on this path. There's an entire community of people right here, watching alongside you, who share your concerns, your hopes, and your commitment to living fully. By sharing your story, asking questions, or offering encouragement in the comments below, you might be the light that helps someone else take their first step toward better health. Your voice truly matters. If today's video has sparked a new awareness in you, or reminded you of the power of a simple, healthy habit, don't let the inspiration fade. Carry it forward into your home, your travel plans, and your conversations with loved ones. Be the reason someone else remembers to move, to hydrate, or to seek help if something feels wrong. When we help each other, we all rise together. And if you're feeling grateful, curious, or even a little motivated right now, why not pass that feeling along? Share this video with a friend, a neighbor, or a family member. Subscribe to the channel so you'll always have a steady stream of practical, caring advice on hand for every stage of your journey. Leave a comment sharing your favorite tip, your next travel plan, or a story from your own experience. Your words might just be the encouragement someone else needs. Finally, I want to leave you with this thought. Every single day, no matter your age, you have the chance to start fresh. Health isn't just about big changes or perfect routines. It's about showing up for yourself again and again in small, loving ways. Drink that extra glass of water. Stand and stretch. Take a breath of gratitude. These little choices add up to a lifetime of resilience and joy. Thank you for trusting me as your guide today. And thank you for caring for yourself with such devotion. I look forward to seeing you again right here for more conversations that keep you strong, informed, and inspired. Until then, keep exploring, keep moving, and remember, your best years are still ahead. Let's make sure you enjoy every single moment.